Hello everyone, my name is Manuela and today you will be hearing about something that needs more attention, and that are subliminal messages. Some of you may already know what they are, but as for the rest of you, don't worry, I will explain. A subliminal message is a technique used mostly in marketing and other media to influence people without them being actually aware of it. And you cannot consciously perceive a subliminal message, even if you search for it. How it is done is by flashing a text, image, or even subtle cues for just a split second. And that split second affects the audience on a level below the conscious awareness. It influences or persuades our mind to auto-suggest or hypnotize in a way, wherein the person is encouraged to be relaxed so the suggestions go to the deeper part of our mind. One of the most popular subliminal messages, or more correct, subliminal advertising, occurred in 1957 when a market researcher, James Vicari, inserted the words "eat popcorn" and "drink Coca-Cola" into the movie. The words appeared for a single frame, long enough for a subconscious to pick up, but too short for the people to actually realize it was there. Subliminal ads allegedly created an 18.1% increase in Coca-Cola sales and 57.8% increase in popcorn sales. Subliminal messages don't just appear in movies, though, to sell things, but also in songs, books, commercials, news, and so on, for political, marketing, religious, entertaining, and brainwashing reasons. Most scary about all of this is that nowadays they appear more and more in the cartoons and child movies and are influencing kids from a young age. They're usually not appropriate and are shown portraying ideas of sex, drugs, ideologies, political parties, conflicts, weapons, demons, and so on. Today, most of subliminal messages are not just shown for a split second, but for a longer period of time, even during the whole cartoon. But cartoon companies are not trying to hide them. They just put them into a background so that children don't understand them or pay deeper attention, but they see them subconsciously. There's a lot of hidden messages in your past favorite or now favorite cartoon shows and movies that aren't actually immediately noticeable, or you did not understand them at first. But now, if you would look back at them, some of those subliminals you would recognize right away. Animators love to put a good joke on the expense of the young viewers, and they slip a joke or reference that flies over the naive audience. This is important because the average child spends up to 2+ hours each day watching cartoons, and that shows us how big of a power they have over the kid's life. They appeal to children above all, and in modern days, very few childhoods are considered normal without a handful of cartoons to watch at home, on TV, or in cinema. Their popularity among children continues into the adulthood, and chances are very high that many of your lasting memories, or maybe even some of the toys that you may still keep, include fictional cartoon characters whom you loved when you were little. Many conspiracy theorists are now claiming that cartoon creators are manipulating children in a way of brainwashing them. And claims about brainwashing came from many sources and conspiracy theorists that study cartoons and the messages behind them. They're now seeing in creators like Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, many symbols that are tied with, for example, sexual content and mostly inappropriate jokes above all. These highly sexualized cartoons are designed to corrupt the youth of the world by promoting sexuality, as for this example. However, the Walt Disney Company was one of the first creators to, of course, deny these rumors, saying these were just simply rude jokes by bored employees. These highly sexualized cartoons are designed for... This is concerning, knowing that kids today your kids or our future kids will be exposed to this content just because they want to watch their favorite cartoon. And creators want to seduce them and control them over their favorite cartoons, and that really is sad because kids in very young age are developing, and that period of time is the most important because they learn and collect all of the information they can get. And with all of the information from the subliminals, they only get violence, sexual behavior, drugs, and self-harming, and also mental disorders. Basically everything that a kid should not be exposed to. Main purpose of this is speculated to be overpopulation in today's world. And you are probably wondering, what does overpopulation have to do with some silly cartoons? Well, it is actually pretty simple. Because if they promote all the bad things, and when those same kids grow up one day and they remember them, they will actually practice them itself. Mental disorder rates, violence will rise together with suicide rates, because after all, so many cartoons are showing visual ways of how to end your life, and basically with a message that only the strongest ones will survive. And that is allegedly the whole point of putting subliminal messages at such a young age, to expose them to everything and see which ones are the ones that will stay in this society, which ones are the strongest. One of the examples of cartoons that I find disturbing, and is one of the most popular ones, and the character that stayed with us for a long period of time, and that is actually Mickey Mouse. However, this first one is not a cartoon, but it was almost remade into one, and I have to say this was a comic for children at that time. So this is during 1930s, Mickey Mouse comic came out, and you can see it right here. Basically, the story revolves around Minnie leaving Mickey for another mouse. Mickey was devastated and then attempts to take his life through various methods. Each time failing, eventually he decided that life is worth living. But it was a pretty wild ride. This comic is including all of the drawings and visuals and the methods Mickey tried using. Even the weapon is present, as you can see right here. During his 3 attempts, it was shown 3 different options of suicide. First one to be a gun, then jumping off of a bridge, and then lastly, sleeping gas. But it is actually not just harm in this. It is also mental illness that Mickey is dealing with, and that is depression. Mental illness was maybe not so strongly shown here, like maybe violence or in other cartoons, but it is there. And when it comes to a cartoon that is really connected with mental illness, that is definitely SpongeBob SquarePants. Because when you take a closer look, the characters in this cartoon seem to be based on the 7 deadly sins that are actually greed, lust, sloth, gluttony, pride, envy, and wrath. And the drastic characteristics that these characters have and retain are in some sort mental disorders. Each one of the characters has some sort of mental disorder that are like bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, OCD, autism, and many others actually. And yet again, here we have a suicide scene from one of the episodes. And there are also plenty more adult jokes and inappropriate things that kids should not have in Disney. For example, this one right here, or in their posters of The Lion King. I mean, then we have words that are in the stars. And we have this inappropriate line from Aladdin, yeah. And then we have from Hocus Pocus, this really, kids would not understand them, but for adults maybe it is funny. And Disney is now known for always having some adult joke in their films. Now we have DuckTales, and that are having posters about Illuminati. And then we even have these examples that are in actual cartoons. And this is just one of the many, many examples that these cartoons have. And these things are almost in every single cartoon movie that kids are watching. That really is bad, knowing that this will never stop being there. Because, as I mentioned before, it is all part of the supposed game that people higher than us are ruling. And it's all the strategy to keep the strongest one standing and to control people from the earliest of ages and to have control over them and to manipulate, to get into their brains and really control the whole society and how we all are going to be. So the question I will not ask is if we should ban these. The question I will ask is if you and we all should let our now children or future children watch them. Thank you.